Hello and welcome to another edition of RHOX Garage. I'm your host Kevin. On today's episode we're going to show you how to install our Universal Gun Rack, part number GR-101, on this 2011 E-Z-Go TXT. Now before we get started, let's take a closer look at what's included with your gun rack, as well as the tools that will be required to perform the installation. Now included in the box will be the gun rack itself, the mounting plate that will be secured to the floor of the cart, as well as all the necessary hardware to secure the gun rack to the mounting plate. Now it's important to note that there will be no hardware supplied to mount the plate to the floor of the cart. This will have to be supplied by you, the end user. Now when looking at the tools that I will be using to perform the installation today, it's important to note that the tools that you will use might vary based on the hardware that you select to secure the mounting plate to the cart. Now we have a 7/16 open-ended wrench, a 7/32 as well as a 9/32 drill bit, and a cordless drill with a Phillips head bit attached. Now that I've shown you the tools that we'll be using, we can proceed with the installation. Now the hardware that we've chosen to secure our mounting plate to the floor of our cart is just a standard nut, as well as a bolt that's a 1/4 20 thread, about 1.25 inches long, and these are available at most hardware stores. Now you want to make sure when selecting a bolt that you choose something that's got more of a flat head to it. That way when you go to place it in your mounting plate, it'll sit flush in the recessed hole on the plate itself. If you were to choose a larger bolt, what will happen is it will sit up above that recessed hole and it won't allow the gun rack to sit flush on the mounting plate when you go to secure it in place. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our mounting plate and set it in place on the floor of our cart. Now you want to make sure this is setting completely flat on the floor before you begin anything else. Now since there are no exact measurements when installing the mounting plate, what you want to do once you have it sitting flat on the floor is take a 7/16 or even smaller drill bit to drill out some pilot holes in opposite corners of your mounting plate, just to make sure you're clear of any obstructions underneath the cart. Once you're sure you're clear of all obstructions, you can then open these holes up with a larger drill bit to accommodate the bolt that you've chosen. And once you have all 4 holes drilled to the appropriate size to accommodate your hardware, you can then go ahead and get your hardware installed. Once you have the mounting plate firmly secured to the floor of your cart, you're ready to install the gun rack onto the mounting plate itself using the hardware that was supplied with the gun rack. Now when installing the gun rack onto the mounting plate, you want to make sure that the slant in the gun rack is facing the rear of the cart. That way if you ever need to make any adjustments to tilt the gun rack backward or forward, you'll have enough room to do so, as it'll fold towards the rear of the cart. It's important to be aware that the underbody of your cart may vary based on the model that you may be installing the gun rack on. So always be conscious of any possible obstructions underneath before you start drilling your holes. Now that we have our gun rack firmly secured to the mounting plate, that'll complete the installation of our Universal Gun Rack, part number GR-101, on this 2011 E-Z-Go TXT. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.